This is how my portrait drawings used to look like a few months back, and this is what they look like now. So what happened in between, how I went from this to this in just a couple of months, and how you can do it too. Well, there are 3 things that I did to improve my portrait drawings, and in this video I'm going to be sharing those 3 things with you. So without wasting any time, let's get started. The first thing that I did is I stopped running behind all these methods such as Loomis, Riley out there in the market. See, the problem with these methods is they will tell you where the eyes and the nose belong, but they will never tell you why do they belong there. It's totally fine if you're starting out, but you want to get out of the habit of using these methods as soon as you get the gist of it, because it can really become ingrained in you over time and you will only rely on these methods whenever you go on drawing any portrait. That's what was happening with me too. I actually bought all these books based on these methods, such as I bought Heads and Hand by Andrew Loomis to actually practice from it, and I slowly started building this habit of measuring any feature before putting it on my portrait. Every time I sit to draw, anxiety would kick in, and every stroke that I would lay on the paper, it was just an unconfident stroke. It was like I'm drawing a straight line between 2 different points, and the portraits would just look very lifeless. But that's not what art means, right? It lets you to explore, it lets you to do things on your own, it lets you to question everything. And that's what I started doing, like why the eye comes here, why does it has to be here, why the nose has to have this bridge, you know. So all these things that I started coming to my mind, and I felt like these methods are not teaching me the thing that I want to be taught, the whole logic behind it. When I started questioning, I started to find out what I can do to actually learn this, and that's where the point number 2 comes, that you need to start practicing the human skull. So the human skull is our underlying structure of our face, and it's a kind of a structure that doesn't changes on a lot of people. Like definitely there will be some features that might change, but there's a very generic human skull that never changes. And when you start practicing the skulls on a daily basis and you get the gist of it and you actually learn it, that how the skull looks in multiple different angles and areas, you will get the logic of the things that you do in your portraits. You will get to know why the eye has to come here, because the eye has a socket behind it and the eye has to come inside of the socket. So I would highly recommend you to start practicing the human skull from now only, and you can find the website that I use to do my skull practices on a daily basis. Try to draw at least 5 to 10 skulls very quickly. Do not pay too much attention. All you need to grab is the proportion, and when you actually do that, you will be start seeing the result of this practicing human skull on your portraits. You will know why the nose has to be like that, why you will know why there is a bridge in the nose, because there is no bone after that bridge, right? So while you practice these skulls, try to remember the underlying structure of it. Do not just practice and for the sake of I'm telling you, and you will definitely start seeing improvement in your portraits for sure. Now that just brings me to the third and the last point that I did to improve my human portraits, is I started learning Azaro head. Well, Azaro head is a facial structure made out of facial planes, and these facial planes will help you improve your portraits by ton. Trust me. When you understand these planes, you will not only improve your facial proportions, but also you will improve the shading, the coloring. While you're painting, you'll get to know where the shadows and where the highlights are. And it's a really amazing tool. A lot of people do it. I have seen a lot of good artists practice these Azaro and skulls on a daily basis. Try to draw at least one Azaro head, and do not just draw it, try to shade bases on the light. And the application that I use, you can definitely find in the description. But again, I would recommend you to learn these things. Do not just practice it for the sake of it. Try to learn and question everything you are doing, like why this plane has to come here, because this is a cheekbone, maybe that's why this plane is out of the whole facial planes, right? So when you start questioning this, you will actually learn it, and when you learn it, you can start seeing the results in your portraits on a daily basis. So to recap everything I just said, stop using Loomis and Riley method as soon as you learn them. Try to practice human skull to know the underlying structure and to get a logic behind every facial feature you put. Practice Azaro plane to know the underlying planes of a facial proportion, and to get better at sketching and coloring of your facial portraits. So yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this video. I hope you like this video. If you do, please hit the like button. If you really enjoyed it, please hit the subscribe button. I will see you in the next one. Till then, peace out.